everybody. Alright, well, I think today is going to be the day you've all been waiting for. We're going to fire this thing up. More than likely we'll have some tweaking to do. We may have some carburation issues, we may have some timing issues. I'm not sure what all we're going to find, but rarely have I fired one of these up without some minor stuff here and there we got to tweak. If it starts, that's a positive. If it tries to start, that's a positive, and then we go from there looking for issues we run across. We did get the rear wheels and rims on and painted. I'm going to take this battery box off. I did find a battery that'll fit in here nicely. I'm going to take that off. I've got another battery I'm just going to mount here temporarily when we do our startup. That way if we do run into any major issues, we can get to the cable easy to just pull it off. I won't be tightening them on. I'm just going to crimp them on so they'll stay, or just twist them down so they're snug, so we can pull them off quick if we have to. Just a preemptive, just in case. I'll get you off the tripod here and I'll walk you around and show you what we've got. My battery's pretty bad on the camera today, so I've got to carry the cord, so you have to bear with me on that, but we've been down that road before. I can't think of what else I really wanted to talk about preemptively, other than don't look at the skins or the tires too close. They've all got a little overspray on them. We've only got one good front one. That's my next purchase, is front tires. The back tires, I'm not sure how fast I'm going to get those and get them on. They're going to be a monetary thing. Other than that, we're about ready to rock and roll here, so bear with me and we'll see how things go. Alright? Take care, cross your fingers for us, and we'll get back to you. Okay, we'll give you a little walk around here before we fire this thing up. No decals yet. That's coming. Probably today. I'm not sure. We'll see how the fire up goes. I wanted to show you the fuel line. I don't think I've shown you that before. This is a temporary setup I put on here. It's just piped in. I put a small shut-off valve in it and just a see-through filter. We cleaned the tank out as best we could, but we didn't get a chance to flush it really well. So there's still some, mostly varnish in here. So I wanted it to slosh around, rinse out what it will, and catch most of it in this filter. There's another fine screen in here that will take care of anything that does get through this filter, but not much. This gives me a chance to see how much sediment we are moving through this tank. I'll leave that on there probably for a while. And then once I'm satisfied that I've caught most of the sediment, I'll put the sediment bowl back on where it belongs and put the solid steel line on and change this out to a new screen in the carburetor. This battery box is coming off. It does have a cover. And there's the battery I found. Oops, don't want to show you the corner there. I don't know if it really matters, but anyway, that fits in there very nicely. So we'll get that hooked up later, but right now that's coming off because I want, like I said, I want access to the terminals. We did get the shifter boot on it, the shifter knob on it, the seat on it. The seat pan is not the pan for this tractor, so we're going to work on putting the correct one on there. I did have a different muffler on here just because it was convenient. I had it laying in the garage, but I didn't like the sound. It just didn't have that international sound to it, so I had to go trade it with the Super H I've got out in the yard here, just so I could get back to being comfortable with the sound. Let's see. I don't think there's a lot to speak of over here. I'll swing you around the back if my cord will reach that far, and we'll show you. There's the wheels and rims painted. Everything looks pretty good, with the exception of the crap on the tires, but somebody walked on it with muddy shoes. I think that was me. We pushed it out yesterday to try to start it, but it started raining, so I gave up. But anyway, pretty well all set to go. I left saran wrap or shrink wrap on my 2 gauges in here because I might shoot this with a clear coat, but I'm going to let this paint set for at least a couple of weeks, if not a month, before I do that. So I've kind of got to be careful not to ding, scratch, dent. Be careful not to spill a lot of gas on this paint. I'm not sure how it'll hold up. It seems to be holding up pretty good. I'm not happy with the gloss on it, but I was happy with the fade resistance that I got on my test piece. So we'll see in the long run how it works out. The clear coat should help a little bit with the fade, but it's never been 100% when I've tried it before. And it's not a base coat, clear coat finish at all in any way. That's why I gotta wait for this stuff to set up good and hard so it doesn't lift it and wrinkle it when I do the clear coat. Other than that, I think I'm gonna go away right now. The next time I talk with you guys, it's gonna be some let's get this thing started videos, and maybe if the weather stays halfway decent today, we might get some footage of me running around the yard, but it's supposed to start out cold and rainy, and it's supposed to get back to warm and rainy, and then drop right down to snow later on today. So, but that's upstate New York in April. If you don't like it, drive 10 miles or wait 10 minutes and you'll get different weather. But anyway, I'll get back to you. Talk to you later.
Yes, it is.
We'll get back to you.
You gotta turn it all the way in, then you turn it out.
Ready, tight.
Turn it all the way in tight, and then turn it up 2.5 hours.
2.5.
2.5 to 3. We'll make it 3.
One. 3.
The idle jack was the one up on the front.
Yep.
Yeah, the brass one.
That's gotta be 1 to 1.5.
1 to 1.5 out.
Yep.
There's one. Or there's. There's half.
Do it by
One.
half turns.
Yeah.
1.5.
Right.
Use a slot and go half turn.
What about the idle?
That, I should have adjusted where we could see it, so that's gonna have to be a flavor.
Okay. Come on, baby.
Clear,
Yep.
ignition on, choke on. Are we wide open or we're closed?
Should be close.
Right.
Alright, that might be, turn this way. You can tell when it's contact, so.
Right.
Turn it to there and see what happens. we wound up getting this thing in the shop and basically pulling the cover off the governor housing, which is right here. I'm not sure if I got you where you can see it. Hopefully I do. Right here, we wound up pulling this off. When I put the manifold on, there's a lever that goes through here with a finger on it that actually operates your throttle. I did know that had to be in a certain position, but apparently when I put the manifold on, I had to drop the carb. Apparently moving that out of position that far to get it below the studs in the manifold, to get it back in and on, I had misplaced that. So that's what our initial throttle problem was, and initial problem with the startup. Had that throttle been in the right position, I think she'd have fired right up and took right off. It was just locked in the idle position. It wouldn't move as it should. So that was our initial, could only keep it running with a choke half on. So we took care of that. We reset all the jets on the carb, got that all squared away, got the timing close, and took it off for a quick run. Didn't bother swapping the camera around because it wasn't out there 30 seconds and it just had no power, had no governor. I could tell it didn't. So, and no throttle control like it should. So we wound up pulling this cover off and this vent cover. There are adjustments here and adjustments up here. I didn't really think into that too much because I simply pulled this off, cleaned it up, painted it, put it back on. I never touched any of those adjustments. All I did was rebuilt the carburetor, which means just a new throttle shaft. Nothing changed. So I didn't bother to check any of those. Once again, you know what happens when you assume? Well, there you go. I assumed it was probably all right. Now, I bought this tractor. It was not a running tractor when I purchased it. So I have no idea what the history was. The person who physically took my money hadn't been on the tractor in 20 years. It was his father's. He didn't know when the last time it was run. So anyway, back to that. When we finally did get the top off, the top adjustment was, somebody had been in there and messed with it because it was way out of adjustment and the lock nut wasn't even in place. So once we got the book out, got the initial setup squared away for that, that took care of all of our throttle issues, governor issues. I did take it out and run it around the driveway for about 30 seconds then, and it makes a world of difference. But I'll get you some footage of it out in the yard. As you can see, we didn't get the decals. So there's a lot of small stuff like that going to happen. Also, the front tires or rims are off. Tires are off the rims. I've got tires coming. They're supposed to be in today, which today is what? Thursday the 5th of April. So hopefully by later on this afternoon, I can have the tires on it. I'm not too sure, guys. I'm getting older, so it went from 51 degrees yesterday morning to it's 22 right now. The sun's shining and you can really feel the sun, but it's breezy and 22 degrees. So I'm not all excited about running around on this tractor today. I've got a physical therapy appointment at 2:30 this afternoon anyway, so I'm kind of laying back. Might do the decals, might not. I'm not sure. But anyway, wanted to give you the history on what we found when we got back in here and started with the KISS method again and got into it a little more in depth. I pretty much eliminated the carburetor issue once we got the tractor to run. But it was obvious there was no governor. My driveway goes down quite a hill, and I drove it down the bottom of the hill and went to come back up. And if you'll notice, when I pulled it in, that was as low and idle as I could get it to. So what it is the governor wasn't pulling the butterfly valve in the carburetor, the throttle valve, back down to the idle position. So if you're familiar with airflow, the air flowing through that carburetor is going to hold that butterfly valve as open as it can without a physical member to pull it down. The governor being out of adjustment was not pulling it down all the way. So that was as low and idle as you could get. Didn't matter what you did other than adjust that governor. Once we found it, we got that taken care of, so we're all set, running good, everything looks great. I had 5 gallons of diesel fuel in the rear end just to flush it out. I think I'm gonna probably run around with that in there a little bit more for the first few times I run around the yard here to flush out anything we didn't get inside the planetary gears inside the differential itself. You can't get to those without taking it apart, and the transmission was pretty cruddy on this. So anyway, with that, I'll leave that in there, and then eventually we'll wind up putting the 80-90 weight that it needs in there. Other than that, that's about all I got for you right now. I just wanted to bring you up to speed in this video so you didn't wonder where we left off. And I'm either going to end this video with this, and the next video will be riding around the yard with the decals on it and the new skins on the front. I'm thinking I might do that because this video is getting to be pretty long. Was trying to save the startup for maybe the finale video because I'm probably going to lose everybody's interest, but I think I'm going to throw this out there and I'll have a final video with the decals and ride around the yard and what we can do there. Alright, so with that, remember to like and subscribe and share, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.